When a giant anaconda shows up at a construction site, the workers can quickly determine that something is wrong with it. It is moving extremely slowly and has a giant unnatural bulge on its body. When a veterinarian finally discovered what was causing the bulge, nobody could believe it. How did the snake even find this so deep in the rainforest? When the workers called the vet back, he decided he would immediately come their way. This snake needed to be cut open because there was obviously something in its stomach that shouldn't be there. It might even be a life or death situation. When the vet finally arrived, he quickly sedated the now almost lifeless giant anaconda. It wasn't the first time he did a procedure like this, but he was still nervous. This wasn't his trusty clinic, but the middle of the jungle. Anything could happen here. When the veterinarian carefully cut open the enormous bulge on the snake, the contents immediately revealed itself and everybody's jaw dropped to the floor. How was this possible? But was the vet in time to save the snake? What did they find inside the snake, and why was the vet so incredibly surprised by it? But before we start our story, smash the like button, make sure to subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you won't miss any new stories. For a couple of months now, construction on a new road in the Amazon has been ongoing. Workers had been working hard to make sure this new road was finished as soon as possible, but that has not been easy. It has been a slow and difficult process. So far as getting materials to the site has been a challenge due to the lack of available trucks, and the constant dangers of the rainforest have also slowed the process down. Workers are way behind schedule. They started to worry because their employer is threatening to take action if they didn't finish the job on time. The employer was even threatening to fire the workers. Therefore, the workers knew they had to take action. They could not afford to be slowed down anymore. Their boss gave them an ultimatum until the end of the month, or they would get fired. So they decided to work even harder than they did before. But they did not know that they were about to face another big obstacle. When the workers are clearing out the path where the pavement is going to be laid, one of them suddenly jumps back. He had seen something come out of the vegetation that scared him a lot. It was an anaconda, but not just any anaconda. The biggest they had ever seen. It slowly made its way across the end of the clearing they had just made. The workers were hoping it would pass by quickly so they could continue, but it seemed like they decided it was going to settle here. The workers were scared and surprised at the same time. What should they do? They already noticed that the animal was moving somewhat slowly, but why was the snake moving so slow? Then one of the workers suddenly saw what might be causing this problem for the snake. When the giant anaconda was about halfway out of the bushes, a giant bulge could be seen on his body. The workers could barely believe their eyes. They had never seen anything like this before. Action had to be taken. With the snake now firmly on the spot, the need to work, the workers know that they have to do something. But while they knew they had to do something, they were also really scared at the same time. Then one of the workers approached the snake. "No!" yelled the other workers. They warned their coworker that the snake might act aggressively in this condition, as he is trying to defend himself if he feels threatened. So the workers came up with another solution. They decide that they will have to call somebody and try to get a hold of the nearest animal veterinarian. When the call with the vet ended, the worker who called him reacted in full shock. The vet says that the snake might be pregnant and is about to lay her eggs here in the middle of the road where they were reconstructing the road. To make sure this is the case, the vet has a dangerous task for the workers. She tasked the workers with trying to figure out where the bulge is located on the body. To do this, the snake needs to be laid out a bit while it is mostly curled up right now. Most of the workers hesitate if they should actually do this. What if the snake attacks them? Then one of them takes control of the situation. The brave worker decided to place himself at the most dangerous spot to protect the others. Two others joined in, pulling the snake's tail in an attempt to stretch it. Fortunately, the snake moved slowly, and its head was far enough from the tail to reduce the risk of being bitten. To ensure safety, the men armored themselves with the toughest gear they could find. A third worker stood by to distract the snake if needed. Wearing heavy shoes, the two grabbed the tail while others watched anxiously. Surprisingly, the snake offered no resistance, stretching out almost entirely. Something was clearly wrong with the animal. The workers spotted a bulge along its body and called the vet to report it. They assumed the snake might be laying eggs, but the vet's tone shifted dramatically upon hearing where the bulge was. Eggs would be further back. This bulge was near the start of the stomach, likely something the snake had swallowed and couldn't digest. Urgent surgery was needed. The workers weren't sure what to do next. Should they wait for the vet or transport the snake? They hoped she would come to them, but she faced challenges. The location wasn't clear, and traffic during rush hour made things worse. A worker suggested picking her up, but it would take too long. So she headed to the company's warehouse, where staff knew the exact location. With the help of a manager in his all-terrain Jeep, she began a bumpy 3-hour journey through dense rainforest. Along the way, she questioned whether saving one snake was worth the time, knowing other animals might need her. But upon arrival, seeing the creature confirmed her decision. Back at the site, time was running out. The snake began to stir and move again. Some workers considered letting it go so they could return to their jobs, but most remembered the vet's warning. If it escaped now, it would die. They used sheet metal to block its path, an imperfect barrier that required constant repositioning. The snake grew increasingly agitated. Eventually, even those who had wanted to let it go joined the effort. By the time the vet arrived, the snake was aggressive and targeting anyone in reach. Some workers dropped their barriers and retreated. The vet had no choice but to sedate the animal, a risky move given its condition, but necessary. Timing it carefully, she injected the sedative into its lower body and followed with additional doses until the snake was finally still. With the danger past, workers collapsed in relief. The vet then turned her attention to the Bulge. She retrieved her surgical kit and examined the area. Her suspicions were confirmed. Something solid and indigestible was lodged at the entrance to the stomach. Surgery was the only option. In the middle of the rainforest, she carefully made the incision and exposed the source of the problem: a small plastic box. The workers immediately recognized it, their old cool box used for storing perishables. It had gone bad, and they left it outside their truck because of the smell. Somehow, the snake had found it and swallowed it whole, mistaking it for prey. The vet removed the box and stitched up the snake. She also implanted a tracker to monitor its recovery and ensure it would survive long-term. Once the procedure was done, they waited for the snake to wake up, unsure if it would remain aggressive. Within minutes, the snake regained consciousness. It was disoriented, but soon began to move more swiftly than before. It disappeared into the forest. The vet thanked the workers for their dedication, then returned to the city where more animals awaited her care. To be sure the snake had recovered, she monitored its movements through the tracker. It behaved normally, confirming that the surgery had been a success. She had saved its life.